Good morning, Pascal. Good morning, Craig.
Good morning.
Hey guys, how
Hey
are you?
guys.
Good morning.
Hello. We're all good, I think. Not to speak for everyone, but
A good inference to make.
mm,
Lots of beautiful words.
Mhm. Beautiful baby to celebrate.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I felt pretty lucky. He chose me.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sure did.
he's lucky he made such a good choice, Pascal.
Yeah,
You and his mum.
it makes me laugh to think about Wayne Dyer telling the story of his daughter. He told his daughter after she had decided that his parenting needed work. He said, "Well, you chose me." She goes, "What? Are you telling me I chose you and mom as my parents?" And he said, "Yep." He said, you need to be a little more careful next time." And she thought for a minute, and then she said, "Well, I must have been in a hurry."
mhm.
I must have been in a hurry. Yeah, she didn't spend enough time up there, eh? Oh my God. Well, I'll go with my word of the day. Word of the day is connection. So body, mind, spirit connection, but also thoughts, feeling, and action, which is my mind, heart, and gut. So yeah, like just really to align myself with all that, then I can be looking at connection outside of myself. So connection with my son, my wife, you guys, all my friends, family, and all that. So
Can you give us more about mind, heart, and gut, Pascal?
mind, heart, gut.
Yep. That seemed to be connected to something else. Like I think you said something about thoughts and actions or something like that.
Yeah, so as my thought, so I feel, then it become my action.
Okay, so which is which?
So my thoughts is my mind.
Okay.
My feeling is my heart. And my gut is my action.
Awesome.
I love that.
Yeah, I do too. There's a message for me in that. So thank you, Pascal.
Your thoughts in your mind, something's in your heart.
Feelings.
Yeah, my feelings.
Feelings in your heart. And action in your gut.
Yeah.
Well, all right, let's pull that apart.
Love that.
I'm gonna throw I have a perspective. How about it? What if the last two switched? What if the feelings were in the gut and the action was from the heart?
Yeah.
That feels sweet to me.
Now it's different for everyone, I think, maybe.
Might be, but we'll know what's right for ourselves. Right?
It's true, true. And I'll go with super conscious doesn't have feelings.
Correct. Doesn't need them.
Mhm. No. However it works is perfect.
Just if you don't think like me, I'm leaving.
Thanks, Pascal.
But how many times have you heard that?
The giggles aren't going to stop today. They're going to carry on all day long.
Yeah, yeah.
It's how we learn, right? Is to sit and say, oh yeah, because I mean, to pull that observation apart is great. I mean, without a doubt, it's powerful. Yeah. And then then we see it, then we start to test it for ourselves. It's like, oh, where is my action? Where is that coming from? Where is my feelings coming from? And as we go through and become aware, we figure for ourselves what they are. So, congratulations. I mean, those are huge components.
Yeah, wow.
Another layer is to ponder our thoughts and feelings aren't real. What is real?
Denny, you're digging deep today.
Mm.
It all depends
Well,
on the definition of the word real, right? Yeah,
as opposed to the illusion.
Or our perceptions?
Yeah. Because for me, my heart has come to mean a direct connect to superconscious and all that is. Like it's the connection point for me.
so with that word real, what I've sometimes come to in terms of using it in the English language is that it and as you said, what is illusion? It's about the illusion that things that we experience are permanent. And that's what the ego prefers to exist in, it prefers to exist in permanence, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, because that thing about that things aren't real, it doesn't it for me, that terminology doesn't work. Things are materialized, so that's pretty real, but they're not permanent.
Ooh,
So
that's a big one. That
our
material and
perception-
permanent don't mean the same things.
yeah, our perception with our senses versus our five physical senses versus our higher
Exactly.
senses.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it's again again, it's about that acknowledgement of everything, right?
Mm.
The importance of manifestation and the importance of realizing that it is fleeting. In essence, it's very fleeting. Our lives are fleeting. You know, they in the scope of life, in the energy of life itself, it's hardly detectable, and yet it has an impact. And we choose that impact. We've got the capacity to choose that impact. That is what is so important. With every heartbeat, hey Jenny, as Mo says.
Oh, that's it's funny. I was just about to say, how do I want to invest my heartbeat today?
Yeah. I got so addicted to that phrase.
That's funny.
I really love it.
Yeah, I like using the word invest around when you talk about heartbeats.
Mm-hmm.
That really moves me.
Mm-hmm. It has a gravity to it, hey, Craig?
Yeah. There's an attraction between the two ideas for me.
Oh, guys, I'm going to have to go. Thank you. This was such a great start to my day again. I really, really appreciate it. Have a great time together.
Yeah, thank
Hey,
you for your
Allison.
contribution,
Bye, Allison.
Allison.
Yeah, thank you. What you added to that this morning in just those few minutes.
Thanks.
Love you lots.
Have a good day.
I need to depart as well, folks. I have at 8:30 I have to get ready for, but I appreciate all of you. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you,
you
Jenny.
too.
Good to see you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
So yeah, it seems like we were talking about the realization of the true self and what's blocking us to really discover the true self. And I was watching a podcast, and he was like mentioning 4 things. It might be more, but 4 things he explored that was really blocking us. And they were like the 5 sense illusion, the ego identification, prison of the left brain, and the institutionalized belief system.
Who's this again?
Mark Passio. Do you know him?
No, I don't. But those 5 or all 5 of those are intriguing. In fact, I've written stuff about all 5 of those. So it's like I'm going, what?
Did I pick your brain?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've been listening to him quite a bit. Like he's talking about laws of nature and then the free will and, you know, our left and right brain in balance and stuff like that. So, and for me, it's kind of like to observe people around me and see where they're at, and like so that way it's a lot easier for me to help them to observe themselves, like be aware of themselves.
So how about
Yeah.
we do that? How about we do that? And I suggest we do that through the choices again.
How we do what exactly?
Aware, observe, and connect. So I'll start. And we'll take a little more time with the start, and we all maybe all just briefly share what shows up for us in each choice. And since there's 4 of us, I'll start with one and then you add another one.
Oh, we're using the 4 core.
You can choose those. We don't have to, but I say yes, let's focus there for now. And what I find is if I say them and then you say your version in your head, then that puts it in the field together, aligns them, puts them out. Well, not aligned yet, they're just out there. So I choose, yeah, I choose health and vitality. For my day today, I choose to be healthy and to be vital.
How are you going to do that?
The obvious step I've taken is I did my green drink. So I feel it buzzing through, feeding my body. Whatever reason, what popped into my head was a 4-hour meeting I have this afternoon. And it was to hold center, to hold vitality, to hold peace through that. So how about you? What showed up for you, Pascal?
Well, in health and vitality, yeah, I've been exploring that one. And for me, it's around hydration. And I had someone that kind of challenged me. Wow, like, yeah, he challenged my belief system around water. And yeah, it's really controversial, like, but like I said, I'm always open to everything and try not to attach myself to anything.
Yeah, thank you. Water is helpful. A reminder that yes, have water available. I'll be moving. Thank you.
But he goes beyond that. And like you said, like your green your green juice. I don't know if it's powder or you're juicing every morning or what, but the big thing with juicing is because especially fruit, it has the actual water that your body needs, that it's already converted, which is, so water is H2O, but the juice, the water from the juice is H3O2. So your water, when you're taking the water, it has to be transferred to H3O2 for the body to take it. And the way you bypass that is really drinking already nature, really. So fruit and vegetable, but mainly fruit. So
Thank you.
so I've been exploring with that in the morning, try to make a juice, even though I'm quite busy with the little one, and see how I feel. And so far I feel really good. So
That's interesting for me that came up today, because I've been doing fruit juicing a lot in the last 3 years. So somehow I knew to do that. You know, over plain water.
yeah, and he came about to say that cucumber is actually a fruit, is a melon.
Yes.
So I didn't know that one. So yeah, so like, and cucumber is kind of the king of H3O2.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
yeah. Well, because like, I mean, like I juice like a cucumber, and then like the juice that I'm getting from it versus say an apple or anything really, like it's enormous.
That's good to know too. I'll have to try that. I've been doing celery juicing as well.
Okay, yeah.
There's special properties in celery juice that you can't find anywhere else.
Yeah, your proper salt, right?
Yeah, that's part of it.
Mm-hmm. Because he came and says that, you know, at the hospital, when you're like been hospitalized, they give you like an IV. And he said,
Yep.
What's in that IV? Salt. And there's a little bit of sugar, I believe. So salt, water, and a little bit of sugar. So he says even the hospital knows that, like, if they give you straight water, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Right? So he came like that. That's the most controversial thing. Like he says, like water actually dehydrates you.
Yeah, water itself.
Water itself. Which is a big pill to swallow for people.
Oh yeah.
Even for me, because like I've
So
been
is this
drinking, like,
conversation our head or our heart or our gut?
head, heart, and gut. For me, it's about taking action. So if I go with what I said this morning, it would be my gut.
Good. My point is observe. Yeah. If we're going to challenge others to it, we also must challenge ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only way to be equal.
What this conversation did for me is it confirmed what my heart already knew and was already pursuing. So I received information to back that up.
And so it only matters if you're receiving information then?
No, that's what happened to matter to me.
Okay. That is what happens when we share, right?
Yep.
How is this conversation different than the one that happened yesterday? That got challenged.
Hmm.
I don't see a difference.
There's a huge difference in content.
That's your opinion.
Suppose so.
So are you in your heart then?
Oh, bigger difference though. The energy around it yesterday was very different.
Again, for you.
No, energy's a constant.
Okay. I had the same energy.
You felt the same energy today as you did yesterday?
When it was called out. Yeah. It's
Oh, interesting.
blah, blah, blah,
Okay.
blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hallie, how about you?
I felt the
Truth.
energy went down. I felt like the energy was going in a downwards, but I actually felt my vortex of creation swirling as people were, as the conversation went on yesterday. Coming from energy. And from health and vitality, water is so important. It's been the one thing I've been focusing on as well, really focusing on it lately. I got my water tested here, and the water in Perth's terrible. They're re-sanitizing the water through the storages and out the sea. And man, I am invested in a water system, and I've been diligently using it every day, filling the water bottles up, because water is so important. And we vibrate higher. The better hydrated we are, the better the frequency is, the energy of us. So it's so important.
So is the conversation around water this morning felt the same as the conversation yesterday, Ali?
No, not at all.
Yeah, it doesn't for me either.
I feel we're sharing valuable information here, and everyone's got different points of views on it, I guess. I feel like it's valuable information that we're sharing tonight for our physical vessels. You know, we're spiritual beings, but these are physical bodies that we're in, and we have to honor them, and we have to care for them, and we have to cherish them, and we have to think and cultivate nice thoughts about our bodies and about how we feel. And starting with water and hydration is really important, I feel, to me. And I'm coming from my heart with that.
Because I spoke to exact same topic with a friend of mine, and he's been looking at water a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually like end the conversation because he shut down. He completely shut down. So I've got to really be careful with what I say, because like our belief system around water is
Different.
huge.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it. What I'm saying is true. That's what I'm just experimenting on myself. So far so good. But the information that I got, I thought like it made sense.
Good.
But when I told my friend that like water actually dehydrates you on its own, then like, you know, he went on and on and on and on. And I'm like, okay, like I'm not saying like, you know, I'm right. I'm just saying what I got for information, right? So
yeah. And it's all the other chemicals that's in the water. It's all the lead and the copper and the calcium and all that stuff, all them bad stuff that's causing the chaos in our body. It's literally causing chaos in our cells. So we do need to be mindful of the type of water that we're drinking.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting to me that this is coming up right now because I'm in Arizona now, and the water
there will be the same because it's a desert. Arizona's a desert, so there's not very many minerals and stuff in it. So your water will probably be similar to ours.
Yeah. So what's interesting is that I've been kind of fighting ever since I got here in October. I've been fighting kind of a throat cold, that kind of thing. But we had left some things in a sink, and they were wet. I went to wash these dishes yesterday, and I noticed that there was looks like mold. It's kind of like black, you know, like water mold and that kind of stuff. And what I realized is that there must be spores or something in the water. Like it's not really pure from that kind of thing. And it's very possible that my body's had a reaction to that.
Yeah, very quite possible.
You know, like even if it's filtered, it's still, you know, that's the water source that I've been using when we're doing stuff with it. So I'm going to start boiling the water, but you know, there's a connection there for me anyway. Oh, and incidentally, when Jesse went with the choice for health and vitality, my first response to that was, I don't know, but I'm out walking already today, so I think that has something to do with it for me. With respect to health and vitality, it's still dark, and it rained overnight here, so it's not the most pleasant of walks, but yeah, I'm out here doing that. And so I think when I went with I don't know, I was open to receive something, and I received it when Pascal started talking about water. So that's just the way I observe what's gone down the last few minutes.
Yes, it is why we have to talk. Thank you. I'm complete with health and vitality.
Okay, I'm going to bring this one in. I choose to create what's new.
Powerful creator.
Yeah, there's huge power in new.
New beginnings. New thought patterns. New seeds. New connections. That was your word, Pascal, wasn't it? Connections.
It was. It's creators creating space, opening possibilities, and aware when we shut them down. As Pascal said, oh, shut down. I took that and I shut someone down. We do it to ourselves, we do it to others.
Sometimes, though, it's valuable to stop things and take a look at them.
Always.
For me, like I love when people challenge me. They're my biggest teacher, but it never always been that way though. But now it's like if you challenge me with an idea, I'm like, okay, there's something that I need to look into it.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you always agree with me, then I'm like, okay, so I'm not growing, right? So
Yeah. You got to be open to possibilities.
And when we're not, it's tension, it's resistance.
Yeah, that's right.
Contraction.
Is flow. Those are part of tension, you bet. Both sides. Is it ours? Is it theirs? Or is it both of ours? There's always tension in that. And that's a point of connecting, aware, being silent, listening to ourselves in the choices is, oh, am I flowing towards that or am I resisting that? Just in the moment of now. That's the power of choices. That's the power of awareness. And when we, as we change, as we do different things, such as yesterday, that wasn't our resistance. It's what people do with it. It's what we do with it when it is ours. And then you ask, what does a powerful creator do? My answer was make space.
What else does a powerful creator do?
What answer did you give, Ali?
I got creating new thought patterns.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
See, when we ask the question, we'll always have an answer. We have to honor our answer,
Yeah.
not compare it to anyone else's,
It's just
not
trying to think
edit
in your
it.
how we
Mhm.
can how I was just thinking of ways and strategies that we can implement feeling that more powerful creator than what we already are cultivating with this work.
Yes. Good question.
I'm realizing that I'm creating a whole new way to process.
Yeah.
Like things
To
aren't
self-
getting caught in the web of my mind
to
so much
self-regulate.
anymore. Yeah. Oh wow. Self-regulate.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, as someone that's lived with post-traumatic stress my whole life, I became an expert at self-regulation. And about a year ago, that self-regulation thing came to a peak, and it got to the point where I just couldn't self-regulate anymore. I mean, that whole process broke down for me. And it's just like, it's such a confirmation, Ali, that you just used those exact words. Because my processing doesn't go through self-regulation anymore. You know, my processing doesn't get caught in that anymore.
Yeah. And that's the end goal. That's the aim. That's the truth, the knowing, the inner knowing.
Yeah, and there's huge freedom in that too.
Yes.
And openness.
Yeah. I love that. That was your word yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, the window gets really, really wide.
Right. My little one's woken up, guys, so I'm going to have to love yous all and leave yous.
Thanks, Ali.
Okay, big love, Ali.
Yous have a great day, guys.
Thank you for listening.
Have a great day.
Bye,
Always a
Ali.
pleasure.
Have a good day.
Bye now.
A powerful creator is a deep listener.
Yeah.
That's what came up for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of levels to that too. Because it hit me when we were talking about yesterday's conversation and this one, that I'm actually learning to listen to the energy as much as the content.
as well as to acknowledge and celebrate the space. Creators
Listening to the space.
Yeah. There's a reason why people say everything they say. It produces this space. We can't help, we can't control what they do with it. All we do is measure, is it flowing or is it stuck? That's all energy is. And it's a skill, which means it's perfect however we do it. Awareness is the key.
I just got a jolt of gratitude that I'll share. Learning these things we're talking about from experience. You know, the value of that is off the charts. For me, learning and integrating are becoming the same, one and the same thing, one and the same process.
as it should be.
Yeah, as it is.
Is it too loud right now? I got about like 15 minutes to get my other destination. No, it's
no,
not
you're
bad?
good.
Nope.
No, you're good, Pascal. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, Will.
Yeah, that would be a true choice for me. Integrate what I'm learning. Because it's good to talk about these things, but if you don't really take action towards them, then it's just information. Like you said many times, Jesse.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with the information. I mean, information is coming from people's genius, from their greatness, from their gifts.
Yeah, but if
It's
you
like-
don't integrate them, then that's just, it kind of just stays in the field, right? So you're not building anything with it.
It may not be a truth for you.
Right. Yeah, like that's
Yeah.
comes like the discernment, right? What's true for me and what's not.
It always comes to like, oh, why was I aware of it? Why is that in front of me? That's a powerful creator. What do I do? What action? Yeah. And I don't know. I find it always amazing out of everything. It is what we bring into existence with our words.
But for me, things are in existence long before their words.
Of course they are. What I'm honoring is why that in that moment with me.
So you're saying everything in existence happened before the words? Is that what you guys saying?
What I'm saying is that things exist before you even think of them.
So it's quicker than your thoughts.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why a co-creative space is so powerful. That's why silence is so powerful. It's because you go in there to see and hear and discover and receive and make connections. And those become concepts and thoughts. That you can bring into the physical realm.
So what would be faster than our thoughts to create? Our feeling?
Energy.
Our heart? Energy?
Yep, energy itself. Yep.
A way of being? Now do we create energy?
Don't, it's already there.
So how do we influence energy?
Same way you build a table. Using very different tools and faculties though.
So we're trying to find out which tools and faculty we need to influence the energy.
Yeah. First step is awareness though.
Right.
You know, it's learning to sense the energy, learning to hear it, learning to see it.
Feel it.
So what helps is to ask the question, okay, what's the energy? What's the energy here? What's the energy doing in my body right now?
Yeah, I'm kind of fascinating with the body because, you know, what keeps us alive? Is it our heart? I feel like there's more than just like the component of the human
No.
body.
It's your breath that keeps you alive.
But even that, I feel like there's
No fuck, finally there.
feel like there's a deeper connection than even just our breath, you know? Yeah, that's the first thing we do when we came into existence, and it's the last thing that kind of shut down.
Change. 6 months later. 9 months since I got the yes. You guys told me not to waste your time in our first meeting. And they don't care about their time either. That's hundreds of thousands of barrels they pissed away in that time frame. It's like, you tell me where your value's at. Good news is they got a pile of wells behind it. We get a couple of gauges, they're gonna just start rolling with it. As they should.
Are you having an epiphany, Jesse?
I don't know if you're talking to us or you're talking to someone else.
No, I think Jesse's doing some deep listening all of a sudden. Deeper, let's put it that way. Yeah, I know I didn't intentionally set out to do this, but what I've learned over the last 6 months or so is all about sensing energy. I mean, that's the common denominator of everything. Everything I've been learning, everything I've been focusing on. Where all the growth is happening.
All around energy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, basically, to me, that's what intuition is. You know, is sensing energies. And the interesting thing is, energy shows up in a lot of ways. You know, it'll show up as a feeling of darkness or heaviness, or it'll show up as it can show up as an epiphany, or you know, the light bulb going off in your head, kind of thing. It can be a gut thing in your solar plexus. It can be an inspiration in your heart. It can be a motivation. It can be a call or an enticement. All of that stuff.
So
In
then
my-
what isn't it then?
What isn't what?
The energy or intuition.
What isn't?
Yeah, I mean, if it, like there's a lot of things, then we also could say, well, it isn't these things then.
Right.
Just to help draw a contrast to it, yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, that's a good point. Our thoughts.
That's right.
Okay, here's what came to me. Information is to intellect what energy is to intuition.
That's good.
I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what came. So,
Yeah, like along the lines, I think how I work with it is if it's a thought I've had before, or someone has given me the thought, then more than likely it's not from the intuition. So it's more of a newness to it, is what I find with it. You know, of course, that is like anything, it's all whether or not we edit it.
well, that's the other thing. Yeah. Because it's a knee-jerk thing to filter
It
what's
is,
coming in. Yeah, and
Yes.
that's the thing I've noticed too, is I filter less and less and less all the time. You know, that's where the word raw came from.
And it's a skill. It takes a skill.
Well,
a
yeah,
practice, which is skills only come from practice.
Yeah.
Which only comes from awareness, which usually comes from something's dissatisfying
Yeah.
or a question is asked.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no right way, wrong way. I mean,
No,
it can't be,
there's no such thing as right or wrong,
right?
or positive or negative, actually, in that realm.
That is the closest thing I have to what my body is making sense of.
Right.
That is the positive, negative is the simplest form that I have to work with all of that complexity.
Yeah. Pretty good training wheels, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great place to start.
Well, exactly.
The other one I've noticed, I speak about it quite often, is time.
Yeah.
Because the past is just that. Past is just our made up experiences that we put so much weight, so much importance to.
Well, we use our past as reference points.
Mhm. Which isn't new.
Yeah, it's not new at all. But then we assume that they're permanent.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're not.
Yeah. And not very often do we go back to the past and reflect on the positives. It's more about the negative to it in the way of life.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
true?
It's the power of structure. Yeah, the power of everything is a structure. And then so our head, heart, and gut is a structure.
Yep. Yep.
And it is. I don't, I have a lot of conversations with people that are in the intellectual, from the mind, and it is how the world operates.
Yeah. It does now.
Even in a
primarily.
transition, it does.
Yep. Yep.
And everyone wants to be at the end. I mean, think about a clean oil transition. Everyone wants to be at the end, and then they challenge you until the solution gets them to the end.
Yeah.
What the
Oh yeah.
F?
Yeah.
I mean, do you have an answer to get there? And they say no, but yours isn't good enough. What's yours? I don't have one. Well, wouldn't that be better than not having one? But it's not mine. Oh, now we get to the crux of it.
Yeah.
You can't have a better strategy than me.
Ah, okay.
You can't know better than me.
The prime
it's the fight of
self-conscious
the
block.
ego, right?
Big ego. It's obvious. And so every conversation we have is dealing with the ego.
Yeah, how hard it is for people to say I was wrong.
Yeah, even me too.
Well, we all, to a certain degree, right?
But the thing is,
Yeah.
was anybody wrong?
Mm.
Because we just talked about the right and wrong, right?
Mhm.
And so that's a trap too.
Right.
It's like, okay, I made a decision with limited input, and it turned out to have some detrimental results.
Some feedback.
Right, exactly. Some things that, some things came back from that that hurt me.
Yeah,
or
I
whatever,
didn't
right?
like, right?
That
And it's
doesn't
like,
make
oh,
the decision wrong.
that's right. And you can change that to be like, oh, I could see how it could be also positive feedback.
Right.
But we don't do that either.
But the feedback isn't positive or negative either. It's just feedback.
Right.
We make it so. We decide, oh, that's negative and this is positive, but is it?
That's right. That's right. And so that's what I speak about when I say out of everything that could have existed in that moment was that. How fascinating. Oh, now that is a hard skill to cultivate in this environment.
Right, because our environment is so overrun by either or. It's as if both doesn't exist, or it can't exist. It won't be allowed to exist.
That's why yes and is always a dominant strategy.
Yeah, the answer is always both.
Yeah.
It's always both. A little bit of this and a little bit of that.
That's right. Is it resistant? Is the feedback resistance, or is it flowing? Like however I responded to it in that moment.
Okay, that's the energy that you read.
That's right. And when I could separate or ask the question, is it mine or theirs? And usually both.
Yeah.
Because it's really easy to see someone else's. It's really easy to see other people's resistance.
Yeah.
And that's why I love saying it's probably both, because the reason we're seeing it is because there's a part of it that's ours, working with the premise that everything is just a mirror.
Yeah. You know, that's the hugest gift I've received from working with you, Jesse, is I'm beginning to see myself as a professional intuitive. and you've seen firsthand all of my personal resistance to that I can't see. So I just want to acknowledge that.
Thank you. Well, so I'll honor your receiving of that then. If that's what's useful and helpful for you, then I honor the receiving of that, because that is the feedback part of it that automatically has resistance in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Mm.
And as powerful creators, we're to make space, create space, and hold space. And I love the analogy that no one can take my space.
Mm. Yeah.
You can't
Unless you
fill
let
my
them.
space. Well,
That's the prime
even-
choice.
That's right. Even physically, though, I mean, just if we go to the
Right.
basics, yes, I'm with you, Pascal. It's like if you let them, but but it's like, even like, you can't come fill my space, but I can let you. Yes, I mean, it's huge distinction in that. And we talked about it earlier, but it's like, I think men are 77, women are 74. It varies, but I mean, not much. 74 to 77% water is our space.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're made up of. Contained in this skin suit, yeah, that is just full of charge.
Yeah. And the greatest conductors of electricity there is water.
Yes.
It's really, really quick.
And what fascinated me, like, it was that that study with Dr. Emoto, right? We're all 70% water, roughly. And you demonstrate that, like, with just power words or even thoughts, like how much we can change the structure of the water.
Oh, isn't that amazing?
It's like, it's mind blowing, this one. I'm like, and then like, we keep like cursing about ourselves, and then like be angry and this and that. We're like, oh, why my body is not functioning well? Oh, maybe my thoughts and my feeling and all that like has something to do with it.
Maybe
Right.
it's time to mind my water.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, look how much energy we put into what other people are doing to our water that we consume, right? And it's like, oh, Jesus. It's like, when we can really, I love this study, is the difference between ice crystals.
Yeah.
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 Negatively speaking to ice or water when it formed, created what was it? Just like chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And perfect crystals to the one that were fed a positive message. That is physics. That is amazing. Tiller, he did some amazing stuff with intentions and water.
Yeah, water does interesting things when you expose it to certain frequencies as well, and then freeze it.
Mhm. And our thoughts are just that, those frequencies, our feelings. Which always, like, I will challenge people, and it's like, that's why the feeling, the emotion is what is so important. And it is what we've sensed from the earliest thing that earliest conception of us, which then says is probably why we come to experience it. For whatever's after that.
Yeah.
Because our patterns are energy,
Yes.
and we take the path of least resistance, which is the ones that we defaulted to, are automatic, and we play over and over. And when we don't give people, or don't allow people, or don't acknowledge people's patterns, you know, like, I'm not in that one way or the other, their energy will take them into their pattern. That was the example yesterday, was that pattern, that resistance. I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave. Left.
Yeah.
We've all experienced them on this call, and we all know
Yep.
that those are breakthroughs or not.
You guys always agree with me, so I'm good. That's why I stay.
Yeah, right. Well, you always agree with me, Pascal. So I mean, I'll keep inviting you back, right?
Yeah.
Well, the
don't
cool
wanna
thing
be
is
challenged.
even if we don't agree, we dig deeper.
Yeah.
That's the coolest part for me.
Right.
Uh-huh.
It's like I go like, maybe that's not quite right. There's more in there. So let's go.
Yes. The practice, right? The skill of it. Not
Yeah.
taking it personal, not being attacked, and equal. Genius is that we work to say yes and.
Yeah, attached to our beliefs.
God.
So if I come back to water, like, nothing is wrong. And I relate to that because, like, what I knew about water kept me alive until now. So
Yeah.
what I knew, was it wrong? No, it
No,
wasn't.
it had value.
But because I'm open for something, then I can, I can gather other information and, like, build something new, like evolve my being, I guess. So yeah, I think it's an important concept. And even, like, say in business, like, oh, it was a failure, I was wrong. Were you really? How much did you learn from it, right? And now you can build something even bigger, right?
Yeah, the thing is, for me, it's like, have I chosen to identify with a conclusion that I've come to. Okay, so have I made that conclusion a solid and then cling to it? And what I've come to realize is that no conclusion is ever solid, because there's always a new insight that could be plugged into it that tweaks it somewhat.
Yeah, exactly.
You muted, Jesse?
Yeah, sorry. I was like, the only thing that's as most fixed is our true choice.
Well, yeah.
Meaning, like, yes, I know it changes, but it's like for the reason that Pascal is like passion, like, see the passion. It's like what we bring up is what we're passionate about, and so in that, it's like, oh, maybe his end result has something to do with water.
Yeah. His big personal true choice.
Yeah.
His big motivator, his big mojo. Might have
Mine are really simple,
water.
guys, like breath, water, right? Like,
well, hey,
sunshine. You know,
those are friggin' powerful, all three of them.
I know. You know, grounding. You know, it's just
Yeah.
right.
Right. Do
My
I hear
four
fire?
core choices there.
Right.
Earth, air, fire, and water. I heard all four.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. You're a shaman, Pascal.
Yeah. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to label myself. Because that's I feel it's the self with like a small letter. I am this, I am a teacher, I am a shaman, this, but the true self, I'm not that.
Ah.
I'm way bigger than that.
There you go.
Yeah.
It includes, do you see it includes that big S, includes that small s, and that small s identification allows us to determine, it's the feedback, are we on the path?
Right.
Yeah.
But you're actually both and.
Yeah.
Wow.
I always think when I like as a true choice, it's like it's always, if you're on an inner tube, right, or a skiing behind a boat, you know, you got the rope, right, and that rope is connected to the boat, and that boat can wobble you all over the place, but you're always connected to the boat. It's like, that's a structure of our true choice. The moment of
Like
now is going to be all, and you have at the inner tube, you have no control. The moment of now, it's all around what that boat does, unless you're driving the boat.
It's like your parents, right? Your parents are always going to be your parents.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter if you hate your parents, they're still your parents.
I'm always going to be dad. I will never be mom.
No.
And no one can ever fill that space for my two kids.
Yeah, no one else.
Like real, it's like we talk about real. It's like that is real. That is truth. And it's like, oh, that was a huge foundation. When I found that, I found peace in that. no matter what was going to happen out there. And that's important in a marriage that is not going well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like why the marriage is not going well, it's expectation.
Mhm. Oh boy, yeah, always. Expectations and mis-expectations.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we
And
don't talk
everything in
about our
between.
expectation to each other,
Yes.
right? It's not clear. You know,
No.
was I supposed
No.
to be doing this or not?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. My ex
And-
and I had very different ideas of what marriage even is, what it means.
Yeah, I mean, you just watch Disney, and there's two different perspectives around. You know, there's a prince and a princess.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how you live happily ever after. Oh, it's that easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Since when?
I mean,
That
what
easy,
else
eh?
have we? What else have we been inundated with in in an hour and 30 minutes? I mean, you live happily ever after.
Yeah, it's that easy. Yeah.
Well, and all it takes is for one of you to choose not to. And that's the end of that. Thank you
It's
very
all
much.
choice. You see the choice? Definitely,
Oh,
choice
totally.
is powerful, man.
Totally.
Mm.
But
The
here's
devil-
another thing. Here's another
Never
thing I'm
takes
getting
away
to.
dad.
Yeah, here's another thing I'm getting to is that the thing is we've been taught to make either or choices.
Mhm.
Vast majority of choices I've made in my life have been either or choices.
Yeah.
And never ever explored the both and choice
Yeah.
as a choice, right?
The other word that's there is like compromise,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is not what I want.
Yeah.
But it could be both. I want this, and it's like, great, I want it, you want that. It's like, where do we meet in the middle if that is what we want to do?
Yeah. So I'm just realizing that the reason my own personal true choice is so powerful is because it's open-ended. It's open-ended. It's inclusive. It doesn't exclude anything. There's absolutely no conditions on it. It's expansive.
Bingo, which is why we can't have expectations around it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the truest truth that there is with a true choice. It's
Yeah.
the power of it. And only when we see it, like only when it shows up, do we say, "Oh, there it is," and boom, does it go right by us?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Okay.
it has a
Yes,
huge
and
I
next.
wonder question, a huge
Yes.
I wonder question that's tied to it.
Yes. Oh, there it is. All right.
Yeah,
Now what?
yeah. Well, exactly. What's next?
Yeah. Well,
What's more? What's more?
yeah. Now what do we do? Oh, yeah. The point is, you're looking forward, not backwards, trying to find it.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Right? It's like trying to drive forward with just a giant rear view mirror, you know.
Yeah.
I am pretty
Jesus.
good at it though.
Yeah. I don't think your rear view is big as I'm thinking it is. But I mean, you think of it, it's like, oh, looking in that rear view mirror and not wanting anything to change. It's like you don't see much of anything else.
Yeah, that's a good metaphor, actually.
Mhm.
Replace your windshield with a rear view mirror.
Well,
And where are you going?
yes, please.
That's like that reminds me of I don't know if you guys are old enough for this. It came out in 1976, so you probably haven't seen it, but there was a movie called The Gumball Rally. And it was a bunch of rebels and renegades and revolutionaries that decided that they were going to have this race from either New York to LA or LA to New York. I don't remember which direction it was, but anyway, they'd all get on the phone and say gumball, and they knew the race was on, and the first one that made it there would win this gumball machine. And there's this Italian guy that was driving a Fiat or something like that, and first thing he's on the road, he gets on the road and he grabs his rear view mirror and he tears it off. And he says, "Was it behind me? It doesn't matter."
Mhm.
No, yeah, don't need to see it, right? Don't need to see
That's
it.
right.
You're either in first or you're not.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a really good metaphor because like when we're driving our car, like or driving our life, we just like most of us like we keep like we're just stuck and look at that rear mirror.
Yeah.
But that doesn't drive our life forward much, doesn't it?
Mhm.
That's really good.
And we still have to. I mean, without a doubt, it's like every 10 seconds. It's always I scan my mirrors.
Yep.
Every 10 seconds, I'm scanning
Unless
my
you're in
mirrors.
India,
Okay.
they don't look in like side mirror or rear mirror.
They just go.
They just go.
I mean, that is a strategy. That could work. If everyone plays that rule, then it would work.
Yeah. It's.
I mean, that's more
watched
around
this
what
show,
drivers
like,
do today. I mean, that's more like the U.S. and more all the time anyway.
Yeah. I watched like worst place to drive in the world, and that was one of them. And he was like,
Yeah.
Why are you looking in the back? You drive forward. No side mirror. Go forward. I'm like, oh my God. That was cracking. So, yeah. And the other thing I would say about expectation, sorry to backtrack a little bit. I don't know, like I was kind of looking like why marriage were, I don't know, say better, but like they were more successful, I guess. Like people were not divorcing as much. And I feel like, you know, we knew like the expectation was like the woman was staying at home with the kids and the man was going to work and, you know, putting bread on the table. So the expectation was more defined, determined between the two. Now it's kind of chaos, right? We both work, like the kids are like in daycare, day home, whatever. And just like, you know, you come home, like you're tired, like who's going to be doing dishes? Who's going to take care of the yard and all that, right? So I feel like it was more like kind of split, you know. Was it better? I don't think so, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but, you know, it worked back then.
Well, it didn't work back then either. is the
Yeah.
truth of it.
Yeah, well, for some people it did, right? For some
Well,
people,
sort of.
they took their role like pretty seriously, and then,
Hey,
you know,
I've
say
never,
my mom.
I've never ever seen a successful marriage in my whole lifetime. Not a one.
It depends what you mean by successful marriage.
I mean, I've seen a lot of people that stayed together. It certainly wasn't like a powerful marriage.
Right.
But that's because the, you know, society sucks in this way. Is we tend to make all these failures individual. Right? But it wasn't my wife that failed me. It was marriage that failed me. It was our concept of marriage and what we thought it meant that failed us. Not me and not her.
So do you think, like, if you
We
wouldn't
could
get
not
married,
conform to the prevailing societal idea of what marriage represents. We could not unify around that. It became the third party that destroyed everything.
You know, it is, yes, it becomes a contract that the government's tax.
Right, exactly. And
yeah, it's a way of controlling people.
That will never work for me. I realize that now. Like that kind of male-female relationship will never work for me.
Or be committed to one particular person.
Well, no, it's not just the commitment. But it's not about, but to me, marriage isn't about committing to a person. It's about a union of souls or whatever, which is like a totally different, you know, it's a totally different realm than, you know, it's intimacy. I mean, there's no guarantee of that either. I mean, you talk marriage to people, nobody will ever talk about intimacy. Never ever heard anybody talk about that. And to me, that's all it is. That's the only point of being with somebody. You want to become one together. And you want to have the whole experience of doing and being that.
And I tell you, there are lessons and learning and feedback, and it can be easier, it can be harder, you know, and it's you know, raising the next generation for me.
Well, yeah. Well, that's part of it too.
It's easier together, harder alone.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I foresee the whole institution radically, I guess you could say, evolving into something else in the not too distant future. I mean, but just like all the other institutions that are kind of decaying and falling apart right before our eyes, marriage is another one of them.
We talked about it earlier, right? Permanent choices.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I mean, and make that decision when we're 18 to 25, you know, it's like, oh.
Yeah. Well, if you intimately become one with somebody, you don't even have to talk about permanence, because it's just a natural end result of a relationship like that.
Mhm.
You know, why would you want to wreck something like that? Why would you
Mhm.
why would you want it to pull apart?
And if it isn't
It's totally
working, find
absurd.
a new one. And if it isn't working, find another one, right? That should be the cycle.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And yeah. So it's like, okay, so is this an exploration, and you know, are we exploring each other? Are we, you know, are we testing? Are we testing the relational viability and not each other? You know what I mean? So could this be sustainable?
No,
I hope it doesn't.
yeah.
I hope it doesn't take 24 more tries. But what the heck, you know?
All right. Well, guys, thank you for today.
Yeah, a little too shallow for me today. No,
No,
I don't know if
shallow,
I'll
little
be.
shallow, very good. Good.
I don't know if
Sorry,
I can
Pascal,
show up
we'll-
tomorrow. Nobody believes me, and yeah.
Mr. Earth, Fire, Air, and Water.
Yeah, I'll just give a hug to my water and look at the sun today
There you
in
go.
bare feet,
There you go.
doing breath work.
That's right. That's right.
As you pick up the compost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Interesting. What do you guys do with the compost, just out of a curiosity?
So it goes to a facility that was, they just make compost with it.
Compost with it and then sell it or use it?
Yeah, they sell it. They sell it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
For compost, meaning people then, good. Interesting. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've commercialized waste in a big way in Alberta.
Yeah. It's a great model. I mean, my wife is in that role now. I'll have to tell her about that. She's here for our county doing that, and her, it's like 25% of all the food grown ends up in the landfill, and it's like that's a significant amount.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The problem is, like, a lot of people, they don't compost very well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? A lot of garbage goes in there, right? And so they're allowed to, like, 10%, but even 10%, like, if, like, some people are just stupid, like they put, like, engine oil or something in there, right? So then it goes back to the soil, and then now you're growing with it, right? So
it's got to be for sure. And it's like the old habits, right? It's habits.
Yeah.
patterns. And it's, I mean, recycling's the same damn thing, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Getting better, but you know, it's like, oh, still a long ways to go until people care.
for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's not, it's like they don't see it as chaos enough that they're just like, and like, it's just kind of funny to me that like most people, as long as it's outside of their home, they don't care where it goes, right? They're
That's
going
right.
to keep their house clean, but
Yeah.
the rest, it doesn't matter.
No, that's, yes. Yeah, the reason I ask is, and I'm not sure, I'm still trying to weed through and figure out for sure, but it looks as if the new product that I'll have ability for, I don't know if it uses food waste or if it uses like other waste. But as we do this, if it's food waste, right, we'll be looking for programs like that to partner with so that we can use it.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly.
And when we use it, if I take that and make more oil with it, ooh,
Well, like there's some countries that they use garbages to make energy.
mhm,
Yeah, well, look at biodiesel. You know,
Right, so everything can cycle back, right?
that's right. Yep. Yep, always. And I mean, I still sit with the question you asked, why do we burn it? It's like, oh my God, what a great question.
Mm-hmm.
well, yeah, Jesse, this the work you're working on right now is going to change like kinds of energy that is usable
Mhm.
in different ways. So do you have to do we have to burn it? Does it have to be in a combustion? Does it have to be that way? So, you know, how can you get energy that becomes energy in a different way?
Yeah.
And how do you
First of all,
how do you distribute it? And
yeah.
you know, and those kinds of things. Yeah.
Yeah, first of all, you got to think it's possible, right? Because the old patterns, that old rear view mirror doesn't allow you to see something new.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, like in our trucks, newer trucks, like they call it DEF,
Mhm.
right? So it burns more, apparently more, like a lot cleaner.
Yep.
So I wonder if you can add this to like a refinery.
And the way
Or
the
even better
rules
yet,
are written, when I add it to the oil that's already there, it becomes cleaner.
Before it gets burned.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's
So
even better.
well, it's really not, but it's a
No.
necessary step that has to exist. It's called an offset first, but then only the offsets lead into the reductions.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it's like it has to, which is why a lot of fraud can exist in it too. But once there's a good protocol, once there's a good standard in place, then you eliminate the fraud.
Mm.
So that's something environmentalists have to open up to, is that is the only way that we can transition.
and I'm
Right.
wondering how you can bypass the refinery altogether.
Mhm. Yeah, that's another generation, like that's the young people coming up with these possibilities once that rear mirror is removed.
And do we really need the oil?
Well, that's the
Whole
other
nother
thing
one.
too. Whole
Right.
different kind of energy. Yeah.
That's right.
You know,
That's
like
what I was
the
referring to
Tesla,
before.
the Tesla energy, it's probably maybe not perfect. I don't know. I never like really studied too much with it, but it seems like it was, a free energy, a free,
Yeah,
sustainable all that, right? So, and then clean.
Yeah, still that rear view mirror that's holding the structures in place that remove, set down so that we can try new things. Same type of structure we were speaking about, like marriage. You know, it's these structures that are in place that are limiting anything new.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Well, I'm going to step
Yeah.
out and say goodbye to my wife.
Yeah.
So have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, see you
Thanks,
guys.
Jesse.
Thank you.
Big hug,
Bye,
Pascal.
guys.
I'll go pick up my compost now.
Yeah, you go do. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye, guys.